Hello, welcome to MJMR, a place where I, Marlon, talk about movies. For this video, I want to give a quick insight into what kind of movie fan I am. So I chose 5 titles from the collection that are not necessarily my top 5 movies of all time, but these are 5 that I chose that I thought, well, if I'm going to show 5 movies that sum up pretty well what kind of movie fan I am and what kind of stuff I like, then I guess these movies would be a good place to start at very least. Right. In no particular order, we'll begin with James Cameron's Aliens. Everybody told him, don't do that movie. Don't do the sequel to Alien because anything good about it will be attributed to Ridley Scott, but everything that's bad about it will be on you. And he was like, well, I don't care. I'm going to make an awesome movie. So, yeah. And that's what he did. So, Aliens, absolute classic. Next up, in no particular order, we have Return of the Jedi. Yes, my favorite Star Wars movie as a child. The only one of the original 3 that consistently was in my video player. I watched A New Hope a lot as well, and I did watch Empire Strikes Back. But as a 6, 7-year-old, Return of the Jedi is just such a hopeful movie. It's just Luke Skywalker, green lightsaber Luke Skywalker. He never gives up hope that perhaps there might be just enough good left in his father that he can bring him back from total condemnation, despite all the things that he's done and everything that's gone on. Luke still holds on to that one hope all the way through. And people, you can say what you want about the Ewoks. I mean, what? That fine. I get it. If you're an Empire fan, the Ewoks are a little bit, I don't know, they might feel a little bit like not quite serious enough. But when you're 6, the Ewoks are fine. They're fine. And let me tell you, also when you're 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, the bit in the battle, it's really understated and it's easy to laugh at it. When the 2 Ewoks are running through and there's a blast and the one gets up and his wee mate's dead, and he's just like, he tries to wake him up and then he sits and he just, oh. It's like, you can laugh at it, but as a 6-year-old, that's how you communicate that the loss that is happening, because it's this really quiet moment within this battle. You're not obviously, you're not going to show the carnage of what's actually happening, but in that little moment, that shows that there's an acknowledgement that, right, this is for kids, but this moment here, we're going to show these kids, we're going to put them through this very like serious dark moment where, yeah, they're cute, then they're coming to the rescue, but there is loss being felt there. There is yeah, people are people. Yeah, well, Ewoks are people. People are making sacrifices. It gets to the third act, and yeah, spoilers. Okay, there's going to be some spoilers in these videos. By the way, we come to the climax of that emotion-filled duel. It's not flinging lightsabers around and hours of choreography that's been learned. So no, it's raw, unchoreographed emotion with a gothic operatic soundtrack that sets up the final showdown between father and son. We get to the point where Luke, for a moment, gives in to his anger and he gives in to his raw emotion, and he takes down Darth Vader. But he refuses to finish it. We reach the point of redemption where Vader and in doing so, achieves whatever redemption was on offer. Next up, Bruce Lee, Fist of Fury. He did Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon before beginning his what would at the time have been his magnum opus, The Game of Death. He paused filming on The Game of Death to make Enter the Dragon. This one, if I was going to recommend a Bruce Lee movie to someone that really like sums up what he's all about and yet is a little bit more of a deep cut than maybe Enter the Dragon. So where in the Big Boss we have a slow burn where we really have to wait before Bruce Lee really kicks anybody in the face. Fist of Fury opens with adrenaline. So you have this eerie, bizarre opening sequence where we have the funeral of Bruce Lee's master and his character's master in the movie. We start at this funeral where there's this really intense rain machine, and it's fucking pissing it down. And he arrives, and he's in this white suit, and he arrives at this funeral. It's pissing down rain. It's mud everywhere, and it's full of all. Everybody's got their umbrellas, and Bruce Lee, his character Chen Chen, he runs, and he tries. He loses the plot. He is clawing at crawling through. People are pulling him back. He loses his shit because he didn't get to see his master before he died, and really quickly following on from the surreal funeral sequence, you have these two members of the rival Japanese karate school coming to insult the Chinese kung fu school at the funeral of the master, and they taunt Bruce Lee, and they bring a sign, and it's a very, very insulting sign. And then in the next scene, Bruce Lee walks around to the karate school and he kicks the shit out of everyone. In the movie previous, you have the slow burn where you have to wait. In this one, in the second scene, he kicks the shit out of an entire school. And the fantastic thing about it is, right, here's the point, right? It's one of the reasons why Bruce Lee was so impactful and why he is held up as fantastic as he was is because the way he choreographed his fight scenes and the way he presented it, you feel the hits, you feel the impact. But the point about his choreography was that he was able to present fighting, physical combat, humans fighting each other in a way that was both like beautiful choreography, very entertaining and enjoyable to watch, but also impactful. So there are extended sequences in this that are a bit difficult to get through. You kind of have to help yourself get through it. So have popcorn, drink snacks, whatever your choice for enjoying the movies, and those fight sequences when you get to them, it's worth every minute in those strange little romantic sections, and stick with it. Next up, Toy Story. This was on repeat as a child for me. This must be one of the movies that I have watched the most times in my life, I imagine. And it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a movie that works for all ages. And I mean, all the jokes work both for kids, both for adults. This is not a movie that gets away with oh, bunch of colorful characters doing stupid stuff, and we have a bunch of inappropriate jokes for the benefit of the parents that are taking the kids to the movie. No, that is not what Toy Story is. Toy Story has the courage to treat kids like they are thinking creatures. They that can handle a little bit of weirdness, which is great. There's a lot of weirdness in Toy Story, and I love it because of that. You have at the heart of it this idea of treating toys well, and that doesn't just limit itself as a lesson to toys. That speaks to uh, things in general. If you are mindful and you make sure that you treat things well, then in return, you will receive that same consideration back. It's the treat others like you would like to be treated. It's one of the primal life lessons. It's one of just the unavoidable facts of living as a social creature, social animal. You have these two kids. You have Andy, who um, loves and respects his toys, and you have Sid, who gets the same fulfillment and joy from his toys that Andy does, but he's misguided and he gets it. He does it in the wrong way, and he needs a rude awakening to achieve that. But the movie never paints Sid as being evil. They always show humanity in that kid. There's little moments throughout where it shows that he is a human, and there's also little hints throughout that his parents may not be the most responsible. If you know you can figure out the little hints here and there. So the character of Sid, while he is mistreating his toys, he is allowed redemption. He gets the rude awakening, and I feel like as an audience, we go away from the movie, we believe that Sid is never going to mistreat a toy again after that. And I love how this movie goes into some just weird stuff. I love Woody's meltdown. He has an emotional meltdown because he's terrified that he's going to be replaced as Andy's favorite toy, and he's going through these emotions that he's never been through before. And he even tries to sabotage Buzz and ends up knocking him out the window. And it's like, whoa, you have to dive pretty far into your breakdown to start trying to physically sabotage these members of your crew. And they end up going on this adventure, which is also, I mean, Pizza Planet, and then you end up in Sid's house, with Scud. It's just like, oh mate, I just feel Toy Story was just the next step in storytelling and visual presentation. And it works a treat for all ages. And I've watched this hundreds and hundreds of times. And I know that if I put it on right now, I would sit through all of it and I would be engrossed through the entire thing. Love this movie. Right. Finally, we got to the last one. Now, this is a little bit of a cheat because it's supposed to be 5 movies that sum up me as a movie fan, but the majority of this franchise I have on a box set Blu-ray here. So I could choose one from the set, but I think just the Friday the 13th franchise is my favorite franchise. I could choose an individual one from either these 8 of the Paramount Friday the 13th from the 80s, or the New Line ones after that, or the remake. I could have chosen all between, but I think suits better just to talk about the entire franchise as a whole. I love the character of Jason Voorhees and all his iterations. This is a series that epitomizes everything that is good about 80s slashers. A great slasher movie can be so much more enjoyable than anybody gives them credit. Now, a point I'd like to make on slasher movies, 80s slasher movies, or any kind of slasher movies, a point that often gets missed by people is that the great slasher movies are not just horror movies, but they're also hangout movies. There aren't that many hangout movies to speak of because they generally don't get greenlit because not an awful lot happens in hangout movies, and studios generally think, well, do I want to take the risk on a movie where people are just hanging out, you know? But the point of a hangout movie is the connection that you make with the characters and the rewatchability and the comfort that it brings because slasher movies follow a format now, especially Friday the 13th movies. You know that you can choose any of these 8 movies from the 80s and put it in, and I can tell you that you'll be pretty satisfied with a group of people that each have their own little unique character traits, and you'll get one character for each kind of distinct social group. So there'll be the members of the audience. You'll usually have one of the characters is kind of your. All right, I can relate to that person. You know, you'll have the hippie stoners. You'll have the dork who can't talk to girls. You'll have the promiscuous couple. You'll have the shy girl, and you know. So when you put these movies on, you're right back there. You're hanging out with these characters that you, over the years, that you've become, that have just become part of the culture of your character. And you can put one, I can put one of these movies on, and you're back for the first half of these movies, 2/3 of these movies, you're hanging out with these characters, and one by one they're getting bumped off in fun, creative ways, and nowadays, of course, they're daft, and you can laugh at them, but that's a big part of the fun and the point of it. Quick individual favorites from the franchise. Part 4, the final chapter. That is, yeah, that's the the quintessential 80s slasher. If you're directing somebody, right, you want to see what it's all about. Like, you've got a great group. You've got a great Jason. You've got a great kind of story. It's well made. The kills are fantastic. The Tom Savini effect. And alongside that, you've got part 3 in 3D with the disco soundtrack. And going back another one, you've got part 2 with Sackhead Hillbilly Jason, also great. And you've also got fantastic sort of more comedic side to the franchise in part 6, Jason Lives, where Jason becomes undead Jason. And you've got part 7, which is essentially Jason versus Carrie, where you have the final girl with telekinetic powers, and then you have Jason Takes Manhattan, which is great fun considering he spends most of the movie taking the ship on the way to Manhattan, and then the shots shot in Manhattan are actually shot in Vancouver, and you have a few minutes of footage in Manhattan that was all in the trailers. Jason takes his time to get to Manhattan for a few shots. but it's still great fun. It's still great fun. And then you go right back to even the original, which is kind of much maligned, and it is, yeah, it's a pretty. The original is it can be a pretty dull watch, but it deserves its place because of what it opened the doors to. It opened the doors to horror in the 80s like nothing else. And even and I part 5, which got so much stick. It's sleazy, it's grimy, and everybody hated it because the filmmakers didn't tell the audience that we're supposed to be watching, we're supposed to be a whodunit, but the audience are just like, whoa, is somebody dressed like Jason? Is it Jason? Yeah, there's plenty of people saying, yeah, Jason's supposed to be dead, but look, it looks like Jason. His mask's a little different, but like, all right. And then at the end, it's like, oh, it was this guy, and everybody's just like, wait, who? Oh, Roy. Well, Roy's great. Roy's great. Yeah, I'm good with Roy. Roy's fine. He hit me, Ma. He hit me, Ma. And and you've got the great. It's part 5 is fantastic because part 5 is the sequence where it displays true romantic love at its best, where you have a couple singing, improvising a duet with each other while the guy is shitting his brains out because of a bad enchilada that he just ate. We literally just saw him run from the knees down to the portaloo because he's staying in a trailer. Ooh baby, 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 ooh baby. Nothing quite like singing improvising a nice romantic duet while you're shitting your brains out. Friday the 13th, part 5. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. This is my favorite movie franchise, favorite horror franchise, along with Halloween, Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street, Evil Dead. Jason's my guy. Yeah. So there we have it. 5 movies to give some kind of insight into my movie brain. Well, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, I'm sure you know what to do. See you next time.